Chosen one, stop. Before you scroll past this, just stop. Because what I am about to tell you is not what you expect to hear from a faith message. And if you are watching this around March 31st, God did not let you stumble here by accident. Here is the truth that nobody is saying out loud. The most dangerous moment in a believer's life is not when everything falls apart. It is when everything is quiet. Right now, no disaster, no collapse, no emergency. Nothing dramatic is burning down around you. And yet, something inside you will not settle. Something ancient and knowing in your chest keeps whispering that this moment matters, that something is shifting, that you are standing between two chapters, and the door between them is thinner than you realize. That feeling, that is not anxiety. That is discernment. You have lived long enough to know the difference. The loudest storms in your life, you survived every single one. But this quiet, this suspension, this is the test most believers never see coming, because it does not announce itself. It does not ring a bell. It does not send a warning. March 31st is a silent test. And the question heaven is asking right now is not, can you survive the chaos? The question is, can you stay faithful when nothing external is forcing you? Before this message ends, you are going to understand the 3 invisible signs that prove you are being evaluated for your next chapter right now. And the final sign, the third one, is the one most people completely misread. And that misreading is exactly why they carry old cycles into every new season. So I need you to stay. Right now, type in the comments, I will not sleep through this season. Because what God is doing in this quiet is not small, it is not accidental, it is surgical, precise. And if you miss it, not because you were wicked, but because you were distracted, April will look exactly like last year. The seed is underground. The tide is about to turn. The courtroom is silent because the judge is about to enter. Are you ready? Let me tell you something that took me decades to understand. God is not always loudest when he is closest. Sometimes he gets quietest right before he moves. You have been in loud seasons before. Seasons of crisis, seasons of loss, seasons where the pressure was so intense you had no choice but to pray, no choice but to lean, no choice but to cry out. And in those seasons, you found out what you were made of. The fire revealed you. The storm exposed you. The breaking point showed everyone, including yourself, what was really inside. But this season is different. This season, nothing is chasing you. Nothing is burning. Nothing is collapsing. And yet here you are, unsettled, heavy, suspended between something ending and something that has not yet begun. And you cannot explain it to anyone because there is nothing visible to point to. That is not confusion, chosen one. That is the silent test activating. Here is what the loud seasons could never do. They could test your reactions, but they could not test your identity. Because when everything is on fire, survival instinct takes over. You do not choose faith under pressure, you grab it like a lifeline. That is not a criticism, that is human nature. But quiet seasons? Quiet seasons reveal what remains when nothing is forcing you. What do you do when nobody is watching? Who are you when nobody is affirming you? Do you still pray when you feel nothing? Do you still trust when there is no emotional charge behind it? Do you still obey when the urgency is completely gone? That is the real test. And very few people pass it, not because they are faithless, but because nobody warned them it was coming. Elijah stood on Mount Carmel and called down fire from heaven. Fire fell, prophets fell. An entire nation witnessed the power of God in one afternoon. And then, silence. Elijah sat under a broom tree, alone, depleted, whispering that he had enough. God did not appear in the wind. God did not appear in the earthquake. God did not appear in the fire. He appeared in a still, small voice. 1 Kings 19. The very man who moved heaven publicly was now being tested in the quiet privately. You know what that feels like, don't you? You have had your Mount Carmel moments. Moments where God showed up undeniably. Moments where prayers were answered, where provision came, where the miracle was real and visible. But right now you are in the broom tree season, not punished, not forgotten, not rejected, being prepared for something Carmel could not carry. Habakkuk stood at his watchpost and wrote, "I will stand at my watch and station myself on the ramparts. I will look to see what he will say to me." He did not abandon the vision. He did not manufacture urgency. He waited with his eyes open and his spirit alert. That is not passivity. That is the most advanced form of faith there is. And Psalm 46 says it plainly, "Be still and know that I am God." Not be still and feel nothing. Not be still and go numb. Be still and know. Stillness as awareness. Stillness as alignment. Stillness is the most dangerous spiritual posture you can hold because it removes every false support and leaves only what is actually real. Think of a jeweler examining a diamond. He does not examine it under a floodlight. He dims the room. He turns it slowly under a single quiet beam. Because that is when the hidden cracks become visible. That is when the true clarity is revealed. God is dimming the lights right now, not to shame you, not to expose your failures, to show you and show heaven what has actually been refined in you through every year of waiting, every unanswered prayer, every disappointment you survived with your faith still breathing. You have been overlooked by the world. You have prayed prayers that seemed to dissolve in the ceiling. You have grieved in ways that changed the shape of your soul. You have sat in waiting rooms of destiny so long that waiting itself became familiar. And the world called that wasted time. Heaven called it soil preparation, because you do not plant a new field without testing the ground first. You do not build a new foundation without clearing the old one. And you do not carry someone into their next chapter without first removing everything that belongs to the last one. This is not a scare date. This is not a judgment day. March 31st is an alignment date. The question is not whether God has moved. The question is whether you have. In just a moment, I am going to show you how this silent test shows up emotionally, because many of you think you are losing passion right now, when in fact you are losing your old operating system. And that is not a breakdown, that is an upgrade. But first, if this season has felt quiet but heavy, say it right now in the comments. God is doing something underneath, because He is. And what He is doing underneath is about to break the surface. Can I ask you something personal? When was the last time something happened? A phone call that never came. A plan that fell apart. A person who misread you completely, and instead of that familiar fire rising in your chest, you just let it pass. No explosion, no sleepless night, no rehearsed conversation in your head at 2 inches the morning. Just stillness. And here is what frightens most people about that moment. They do not celebrate it. They panic. They ask themselves, what is wrong with me? Why don't I feel it anymore? Am I losing my fight? Am I shutting down? Have I stopped caring? Chosen one, hear me clearly. You have not lost your fire. Your fire has changed form. There is a difference, a profound, God-ordained difference between a wildfire and a furnace. A wildfire burns everything in its path. It is loud, consuming, destructive, and exhausting. But a furnace? A furnace holds its heat, controlled, directed, purposeful, and far more powerful. What you are feeling right now is not emptiness. It is not depression. It is not indifference. It is not shutdown. It is the furnace replacing the wildfire. And God did that on purpose. Think about what used to move you. Someone did not call back and you spiraled. Someone misunderstood your intentions and you spent 3 days explaining yourself. A plan shifted and your peace collapsed with it. An old pressure tactic landed and you reacted before you even had time to think. You know exactly what I am talking about, because you lived inside those reactions for years, maybe decades. And every single time, they cost you something: energy, sleep, relationships, time, pieces of yourself you gave away to disturbances that, looking back, did not deserve that much of you. But now something is different. The call does not come and you breathe through it. The plan shifts and you adjust without unraveling. Someone misreads you and you do not chase the explanation. The old pressure arrives and it simply does not land the same way. That is not weakness. That is Isaiah 30:15 made flesh in your life. In quietness and trust shall be your strength. Not in noise, not in defense, not in reaction, in quietness. David understood this. When Saul was sleeping in that cave, vulnerable, exposed, at David's mercy every human emotion screamed, "Now, act now, end it now." But David held himself. He refused to move from impulse. He let God be the judge. And that restraint, that silence, is what eventually placed a crown on his head. Paul understood this, sitting in chains, writing letters that would shape 2,000 years of Christian faith, not from a palace, from prison. And what did he write? "I have learned, in whatever state I am, to be content." Learned. It was not natural. It was not automatic. It was developed through exactly the kind of quiet season you are in right now. And Jesus, the night of his arrest, stood before accusation and said nothing. Not because he had no answer. He had every answer, but because the moment required sovereignty, not reaction. Chosen one, you are in that same school right now. And here is the truth that should bring tears to your eyes if you let it settle deep enough. You spent years believing that your sensitivity was your weakness. That feeling everything so deeply, reacting to everything so quickly, was a flaw you needed to fix. But God was never trying to remove your sensitivity. He was trying to stop it from being weaponized against you. Every time you reacted from old wounds, the enemy used your own emotions as the trap. Your fire became the fuel for your own setbacks. Your passion became the door through which chaos walked in. But now that door is closing. Your soul is no longer leaking energy into every disturbance that passes through your life. You are not a bell that rings at every vibration anymore. The anchor is holding. The storm is still moving, but it is no longer pulling you loose from the ground God placed you on. This is emotional sovereignty, and it is one of the clearest signs that heaven has begun your evaluation for what comes next. So right now, I need you to do something. Type it in the comments. Say it out loud if no one is listening. Declare it into the air of whatever room you are sitting in right now. I am not numb. I am steadier. Because the enemy wants you to believe this quietness is a loss. God knows it is a promotion. You are not fading, chosen one. You are becoming too internally anchored to be moved by everything that once controlled you. But emotional steadiness is only the beginning. Because once God stills your reactions, once he quiets the noise of your responses, he does not stop there. He reaches deeper. He starts confronting something even more hidden, even more defended, even more personal. He starts confronting the identities you built just to survive. And that is where the real test begins. Let me ask you something nobody has ever asked you directly. Who were you before you became the strong one? Before you became the one who held everything together? Before you became the one who never cried in front of people? Before you became the one who carried the weight so others would not have to feel it? Who were you before that? Because somewhere along the way, and you know exactly what I am talking about, you stopped living and started performing. You performed strength when you were exhausted. You performed peace when you were breaking. You performed competence when you were desperate for someone to look at you and say, "I have got you. Rest now." But nobody said it, so you kept going. You became the fixer, the rescuer, the one who overfunctioned so quietly that people forgot you had needs too. You became the peacekeeper who swallowed your own voice to keep the room calm. You became the overachiever who tied your entire worth to how useful you could be to other people. And it worked. For a season, it worked. But chosen one, that season is over. And the heaviness you feel right now? That is not depression. That is not age. That is not confusion. That is the weight of a role God is asking you to finally put down. Here is what nobody tells you about survival identities. They are not character flaws. They are armor. They formed in real seasons of real pain, when you had to be strong because no one else would be. When you had to rescue because everything was falling. When you had to perform because vulnerability felt like danger. That armor saved you then, but armor was never meant to be worn forever. And right now, if you are honest, truly honest, that armor is not protecting you anymore. It is restricting you. Remember Martha in Luke chapter 10? She was not a bad woman. She was a faithful woman. She was working, serving, carrying. But Jesus looked at her and said something that must have stung like fire. "Martha, Martha, you are worried and troubled about many things, but one thing is needed." Martha had built her entire identity around being, needed, around doing, around serving. And Jesus, gently but firmly, was calling her out of performed usefulness into something deeper. He is calling you out of the same thing right now. Look at Moses. He spent 40 years performing royalty in Pharaoh's palace, then 40 years performing humility as a shepherd in the desert. And God met him at a burning bush and said, "Neither of those is who you really are. Strip both identities. I am sending the real you." Look at Gideon hiding in a winepress, calling himself the least of his family. And the angel of the Lord appeared and called him something he had never called himself, mighty warrior. God did not rename Gideon based on his history. He renamed him based on his assignment. And look at Peter, impulsive, loud, always the first one to speak and the first one to fall. But Jesus looked past the performance and said, "You are not just Simon the fisherman. You are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church." God has never been interested in the role you played. He has always been after the person underneath it. So, let me ask you again, and I need you to sit with this question, not rush past it. If you stopped fixing, who would you be? If you stopped carrying everyone else's weight, what would your shoulders feel like? If you stopped performing strength, what is actually still standing underneath? Because here is the truth that will either set you free or shake you to your core. You are not losing yourself in this season. You are being separated from the version of you that was built for survival, not for assignment. God is not stripping your identity to leave you empty. He is removing the scaffolding because the building can finally stand on its own. He is pulling off the name tag that said the strong one and the fixer and the one who never asks for help, because that name tag does not belong on the door you are about to walk through. The clothing that got you through the last 30 years, it still fits your memory, but it no longer fits your calling. And you can feel it, can you not? Right now, in your spirit, you can feel something loosening, something releasing, something that has been gripping you for decades, slowly opening its hand. That is God. That is the mercy of a Father who refuses to let you spend the rest of your life performing for people who were never meant to be your audience. Right now, I want you to declare something out loud, not for me, for yourself. Say it. I release who I had to be to become who God is forming. Say it like you mean it. Because heaven heard it. And once the old role loosens, once that armor starts coming off, something strange begins to happen. Time itself starts to feel different. And that is not random. That is the next part of the test. Can I ask you something honest? When did you last feel like time was on your side? Not rushing you, not slipping away, not standing over you like a judge with a stopwatch, just on your side. For most of your life, time felt like a creditor, always collecting, always demanding. You woke up behind, you went to sleep still behind, and somewhere along the way, you started believing that speed was faithfulness, that hustle was holiness, that if you were not moving fast, you were falling short. But right now something has changed. And you felt it, didn't you? The urgency is quieter. The panic has softened. The compulsion to force things, to push doors open, to make things happen on your schedule, it is loosening its grip. And instead of feeling motivated by that, you feel unsettled. Because everything you were ever taught told you that stillness was dangerous. That pause meant failure. That waiting meant losing. So let me speak directly to what you are feeling right now. You are not losing momentum. You are changing clocks. Ecclesiastes 3:1 says it plainly. To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under heaven. Not a suggestion, a declaration. Purpose is tied to timing. And timing cannot be manufactured by willpower alone. Look at Abraham. God promised him a son. Not in 5 years, not in 10, in 25 years of waiting, and every single year of that wait looked like nothing was happening. But heaven was not idle. Heaven was precise. The promise was not late. Abraham was being prepared to carry what was coming. Look at Joseph, 17 years old when God gave him the dream, 30 years old when it manifested, 13 years in the pit, in slavery, in prison, 13 years where every single day looked like the promise had died. But the prison was not punishment. The prison was positioning. And the moment God's timing arrived, one conversation, one morning, one divine appointment, and Joseph went from the lowest cell to the highest throne in Egypt before sunset. You cannot pull a train ahead of its tracks. You cannot shout a piece of fruit into ripening. You cannot outrun the timing of God and call it faith. And here is the reframe that will change everything for you today. What you have been calling delay, God has been calling development. What you have been calling lost time, heaven has been calling loaded time. What felt like the clock running out was actually the clock being reset. Not to your schedule, to heaven's. Jesus said it repeatedly throughout the Gospels. My hour has not yet come. The Son of God, with all power, all authority, all wisdom, looked at urgency and said, not yet, because he understood something that most believers never fully grasp. Alignment is more powerful than hurry. The right move at the wrong time still produces the wrong result. And right now, in this season, God is not asking you to outrun the clock. He is asking you to move when he moves, to act when heaven signals, to trust that the pause is not punishment, it is preparation. He is resetting your watch, not to slow you down, to synchronize you. And that synchronization, that is where miracles live. This is especially important for you, because you have lived long enough to carry regret. You know what it feels like to look back and wonder if you missed a window. And the enemy uses that memory against you. He whispers, you are running out of time. You waited too long. Your best days are already behind you. That is a lie dressed in urgency. Sarah was 90 years old when Isaac was born. Moses was 80 when God called him to lead a nation. Anna was 84 years old, still in the temple, still faithful, still waiting, and she was the one chosen to see the Messiah with her own eyes. Heaven does not retire its chosen ones. Heaven ripens them. You are not behind. You are being readied. If this message is finally putting language to a season, you could not explain a season that felt suspended, strange. Neither here nor there, take 1 second right now to subscribe and stay connected, because there are seasons where you need repeated reminders not to go back to fear, and what is coming next in this message is something you cannot afford to miss. Type in the comments right now, "I arrive when it is time," because that declaration is not passive. That is warfare. That is telling every spirit of panic, every whisper of regret, every voice that said you are too late, that you are no longer operating on their timeline. You are on heaven's clock now. But here is where many people fail this test. Once the urgency breaks, once the panic softens, they mistake the pause for emptiness, and they rush to fill it. They grab the nearest goal. They force the nearest door. They create noise to avoid the silence. And in doing so, they step directly into the most dangerous part of this threshold. Your next chapter is not opened by speed. It is opened by readiness. And readiness requires something most people are not willing to do. That is exactly what we are going to face next. Can I be honest with you for a moment? Not preacher honest, not platform honest, real honest. There is something happening inside you right now that you have not said out loud to anyone, not your children, not your pastor, not even God, not fully. And it goes something like this. The things that used to drive you no longer do. The goals that once kept you up at night, you look at them now and feel almost nothing. The ambitions you chased for decades, they feel like someone else's dream. The version of success you spent 30, 40, 50 years building toward it sits there, and you stare at it, and somewhere deep in your chest, you whisper a question that terrifies you. Is this all there was? And then comes the real fear. Not fear of failure, fear of yourself. Am I burning out? Am I getting weaker? Did I lose my drive? Why does nothing pull me the way it used to? You have spent a lifetime being the strong one, the one who showed up, the one who pushed through, the one who did not quit when quitting would have been easier. Duty was your fuel, obligation was your engine. And now in this strange, suspended quiet of late March, that engine has gone silent, and you do not know what to do with the silence. Here is what I need you to hear. What I need you to receive, not just in your mind, but deep in your bones. That silence is not failure. That silence is sacred. Do you remember Elijah, one of the most powerful prophets who ever walked the earth, called fire down from heaven, stood alone against 450 false prophets, and then, after the greatest victory of his ministry, he collapsed under a broom tree in the desert and told God he was done. 1 Kings 19:4. It is enough, Lord, take my life. This was not weakness. This was a man whose old motivation had run completely dry. The fire that carried him to Mount Carmel could not carry him one step further, and God did not rebuke him. God did not preach at him. God let him sleep, fed him, and then whispered, not shouted, whispered what came next. That is the God you are dealing with right now. Think about the disciples after the crucifixion. 3 years of momentum, 3 years of miracles, mission, purpose, and then silence, disorientation, locked in a room, no direction, no drive, no idea what came next. They were not weak. They were between chapters, and that in-between place felt like death because the old commission was finished and the new one had not yet arrived. What feels like losing your drive may actually be God retiring every desire that could no longer carry your true future. Read that again. Not losing your future, retiring the desires that could no longer carry it. Because here is the truth that most people never hear in church. Now, not all motivation is holy. Some of it is fear wearing a work ethic. Some of it is wounds wearing ambition. Some of it is the need for approval wearing the costume of purpose. You spent decades running, and some of what you were running on was obligation, expectation, the weight of what other people needed you to be. And God, in His mercy, is letting it die. This is not burnout, this is pruning. A gardener does not prune a dead branch. A gardener prunes branches with life in them because the life needs to be redirected. John 15:2. Every branch that does bear fruit, He prunes so that it will be even more fruitful. The pruning is proof you are still growing. The old engine is shutting down because a new one is being installed. The room is being emptied, not abandoned, emptied, so that what belongs to your next season can actually fit inside it. You cannot carry April's assignment with March's motivation. You cannot enter your next chapter dragging the emotional furniture of every chapter before it. God is not punishing your silence. He is protecting your next beginning. But here is where most people make the critical mistake. They feel the emptiness and they panic. They grab the nearest goal. They manufacture urgency. They drag themselves back onto the treadmill of performance because stillness feels irresponsible. And in doing so, they short-circuit exactly what God was building. Do not rush this clearing. Do not fill this silence with noise just because silence is uncomfortable. Right now, I want you to do something. Say this out loud wherever you are, whatever time it is, whatever the room looks like around you. Say it like you mean it. God, cleanse my motives, not just my circumstances. Because when God clears the old desire, when He lets the fear-based fire go completely out, what rises in its place is something you have never felt before. It is not loud. It is not urgent. It is not desperate. It is certain. And that certainty has a name. It is called inner authority. And it is the very next thing God is building inside you right now, in this quiet, in this suspension, in this place that feels like emptiness, but is actually the most important room in your entire story. Stay with me, because what awakens next changes everything. Let me ask you something that might be uncomfortable. How many times have you known something deep in your spirit, clear as morning light, and then talked yourself out of it because nobody around you confirmed it? How many times did God speak to you first, and you waited for a person to catch up before you moved? That waiting cost you. You know it did. And here is what heaven is watching on March 31st. Not whether you can quote scripture, not whether you show up to church. Heaven is watching whether you can trust what God has already made clear inside you before the applause arrives, before the explanation is accepted, before anyone else understands. This is what inner authority looks like, and most believers have never been taught how to carry it. You have spent years, decades, being the person who explained yourself, justified your decisions, softened your knowing to keep the peace. You have sat across tables from people who doubted you, overruled you, talked over you, and you went home and quietly wondered if maybe they were right. They were not right. They were just louder. And God allowed that season. Every year you were doubted. Every room where your voice was minimized. Every moment you felt invisible. That was not punishment. That was preparation. Heaven was building something in you that noise cannot produce. Something that comfort cannot manufacture. It was building a spine. Proverbs 3:5 says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding." Most people read that as a call to doubt themselves. It is not. It is a call to stop outsourcing your certainty to people who cannot see what God has shown you. Look at Nehemiah. When his enemies sent message after message trying to pull him into conversation, trying to distract him, trying to get him to come down from the wall and explain himself, Nehemiah said something that should be written on every believer's mirror. He said, "I am doing a great work. I cannot come down." He did not argue. He did not defend. He did not hold a meeting. He kept building. That is inner authority. Look at Jesus. When Herod wanted a miracle on demand, a performance, a sign, something to satisfy curiosity. Jesus said nothing, not one word. The Son of God refused to perform for an audience that was not aligned with his purpose. He did not explain his silence. He just held it. That is inner authority. Look at Esther. She did not take a poll before she walked into the king's court. She did not gather opinions. She fasted, she prayed, she listened, and then she moved with a resolve that no human being had given her. She said, "If I perish, I perish," and she walked forward anyway. That is inner authority. And Paul, the moment God called him on the road to Damascus, he said in Galatians 1:16, he did not consult with flesh and blood. He did not run to a committee. He did not wait for a council to approve what God had already confirmed. He moved. Chosen one, the March 31st test is asking you the same question it asked every one of them. Can you honor what God is doing inside you before others understand it? Can you hold your knowing without collecting permission slips from everyone in your circle? Because here is what nobody tells you about this season of life. When you reach a certain age, when you have survived what you have survived, when you have seen what you have seen, God stops sending you confirmations through crowds. He starts confirming things in the quiet, in the 3 a.m. stillness, in the prayer no one else heard, in the peace that settled over a decision before you told a single soul. That peace is not confusion. That peace is confirmation. A compass does not need applause to hold north. It simply holds. A sealed letter does not need to shout its contents to carry weight. It simply carries. And you, chosen one, do not need one more person's approval to move in the direction God has already lit up inside your spirit. Stop negotiating with what God has already made clear. Stop softening your knowing to make others comfortable. Stop waiting for the crowd to catch up to what the Holy Spirit already told you in private. The next chapter of your life does not open through explanation. It opens through obedience. And obedience does not wait for a majority vote. If you are done, truly done, outsourcing your peace to people who were never meant to carry it, declare it right now in the comments. Say this: I trust what God is confirming in me. Say it like you mean it, because heaven is listening. And once that authority fully activates inside you, something else begins to happen. Something you may have already noticed around you, but have not yet had words for. The people, the habits, the paths that no longer belong in your next chapter, they begin to fall away, quietly, without war, without drama. And that, chosen one, is how you know the test is nearly complete. Can I tell you something that nobody in your life has given you permission to hear? Some people were never meant to go where God is taking you next. Not because they are bad people, not because you stopped loving them, not because something went wrong between you, but because the chapter they belong to has already been written, and you are standing at the first blank page of something new. Deep down, chosen one, you already know who I am talking about. There are conversations in your life right now that feel finished, not broken, not angry, just complete. Like a book you close gently and set on the shelf, you still honor it. You still remember what it meant to you, but you do not open it again, because everything it had to give you it already gave. There are relationships that used to carry electricity, and now they carry silence. Not the painful kind, the settled kind, the kind that tells the truth without saying a word. There are habits you built over decades that no longer feel like comfort. They feel like costumes from a life you are quietly outgrowing. There are environments, maybe even a church, maybe even a family table, that feels spiritually crowded now. Too loud for what God is building inside you, too small for the frequency you are carrying. And here is what I need you to hear, because this is the part that wounds the most honest people. You are not being cruel, you are being refined. Holy distance is not hatred, it is stewardship of your assignment. Abraham loved Lot. They shared blood, shared tents, shared years. But Genesis 13 tells us the land could not support them both in the same place. And Abraham, with grace, with generosity, said, "You choose first. I will go the other way." No bitterness, no explosion, just two men walking in different directions because growth demanded it. Paul and Barnabas, closer than brothers. Yet Acts 15 tells us they sharply disagreed and parted ways, not because one was wicked, but because God had two different assignments that required two different roads. And the church doubled because they separated. Ruth left everything familiar, her homeland, her language, her gods, her future as the world defined it, all of it, released. Not in rage, in love, in surrender. And that quiet walk toward Bethlehem became one of the most sacred journeys in all of Scripture. Even Jesus walked away from crowds, pulled back from noise, guarded his proximity, because he understood something that took most of us a lifetime to learn. Not everyone who follows you is assigned to you. Now let me ask you something direct, something that might shake loose what you have been carrying for years. How long have you been exhausted by people you never had permission to release? How many decades have you spent managing the feelings of those who were never meant to walk into your next season? How many times have you shrunk yourself, your calling, your peace, your very voice to keep someone comfortable who was never supposed to stay this long? You have been holding doors open that God has been trying to close for years, and chosen one that is not faithfulness. That is fear wearing the mask of loyalty. The autumn tree does not grieve when the leaves fall. It does not chase them down the street. It does not apologize for the season changing. It simply releases, and in that releasing, it conserves everything it needs to survive the winter and bloom again in spring. That is what is happening to you right now. The static is leaving, and when static leaves a signal long enough, what comes through is clean, clear, and unmistakable. So right now, wherever you are, I want you to pray this with me. Not loudly, not dramatically, just quietly, from the deepest, honest place inside you. Lord, remove what cannot walk with me into what you are opening. Say it again if you need to. Because that prayer is not a goodbye, it is a declaration. It is you finally agreeing with what heaven has been arranging while you were still trying to hold everything together with your own hands. Not every ending is an attack. Some endings are evidence that your soul no longer belongs where it once lived. And the fact that it does not hurt the way it once would have, that is not coldness. That is completion. That is the evidence that you have finally grown past what once had the power to keep you small. The separation is quiet because you are no longer at war with your own becoming. And that brings us to the final question, the one this entire message has been building toward. If March 31st is a silent test, if heaven has been watching how you handle the quiet, the detachment, the endings, the stillness, then what exactly is being decided? What does heaven actually do with everything it has been measuring in you? Stay with me, because what comes next changes everything. Let me tell you what this day is not. It is not a superstition. It is not a number someone invented to frighten you. It is not spiritual folklore passed around the internet. March 31 is not a mystical date that controls your fate from the outside. What it is a mirror. And what it reflects is going to change everything about how you walk into April. Here is what heaven is actually watching right now. Not your performance, not your perfection, not how many prayers you recited this week, or how many scriptures you memorized. God already knows your heart deeper than your own memory can reach. He is not grading your record. He is reading your readiness. And readiness is not about what is coming toward you. Readiness is about what you are willing to stop dragging behind you. Joshua 3-5 says it with 4 words that should stop you cold. Consecrate yourselves, for tomorrow the Lord will do wonders. Not next year, not when you feel ready, tomorrow. But consecration came first, preparation came first, the letting go came first. The Israelites stood at the edge of the Jordan River, 40 years of wilderness behind them. The promised land visible ahead, and God did not say, "Push harder." He said, "Consecrate." He said, "Release." He said, "You cannot cross carrying what the wilderness built in you." That is March 31. That is the crossing. And here is the question heaven is asking over your life right now, not out loud, not with thunder, but in the deep quiet you have been feeling for days. Do you still need chaos to feel direction? Think about that. Because some of us have lived so long inside storms that stillness does not feel like peace. It feels like danger. We wait for the crisis to tell us what to do next. We wait for the pressure to confirm we are still moving. And when nothing is falling apart, something inside us gets nervous. Like calm itself is a warning sign. Do you still cling to who you used to be? Lot's wife could not do it. Genesis 19. She had been given a miracle, an escape, a future, a new beginning, and she looked back. Not because she was evil, because the old life still had a grip on her. And that one glance, that one emotional return to what was behind her, cost her everything. She did not lose her future because God stopped loving her. She lost it because she could not stop loving what God had already closed. Do you still force timing? Are you still trying to make things happen on a schedule that fear invented? Are you still confusing urgency with obedience? Because they are not the same. Urgency says move now or lose everything. Obedience says move when I say, and not one breath before. Can you hold peace without visible evidence? This is the hardest one. This is where most believers break, because we were taught, show me and I will believe. But the kingdom moves in the opposite direction. Believe first, then watch what I show you. Mary stood at an empty tomb weeping, convinced the story was finished. And Jesus was already standing right behind her. The answer was already there, but grief had her facing the wrong direction. That is where some of you are tonight. The answer is already behind you. The new chapter is already assembled, but old grief, old identity, old timing, they have you facing the wrong direction. Here is the line I need you to carry with you from this moment forward. Your next chapter depends less on what comes to you and more on what you refuse to drag into it. Read that again with your whole life behind your eyes, because you can receive a new chapter and still ruin it by arriving with old furniture. You can walk through a new door and redecorate it to look exactly like the room you just left. A new wineskin cannot hold old fermented residue. It will burst. It will waste everything. Not because God did not provide, but because the container was never cleaned out. March 31 is not testing your noise. It is not measuring how loud your faith sounds or how confident your declarations are. It is testing 4 things and 4 things only. Your stewardship, can you be trusted with more when you have stopped honoring what you already carry? Your peace, can you remain steady when nothing external confirms you? Your identity, have you finally released who you were so you can fully become who you are called to be? Your timing, can you move when heaven says move, and be still when heaven says wait? This is the doorway, and it is narrower than you think. Not because God is cruel, because old patterns cannot fit through it. Old reactions cannot fit through it. Old you, the version built by survival, by fear, by the need for approval, cannot fit through it. Only the consecrated version walks through. Right now, type in the comments, I will not carry the old me into April. And if you know someone sitting in a quiet season right now, thinking nothing is happening, send them this. Because what looks like silence to them is actually God measuring what they are made of. Now, are you ready to find out which signs prove you are already in this test? You made it to the end, and that tells me something about you. You did not click away. You did not scroll past. You stayed. And staying when everything in this culture screams to move faster, consume more, chase the next thing, staying is already an act of obedience. So before I give you what to do on March 31st, I need to say this directly to you. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. And this quiet season, you have been living inside this strange, suspended, between chapters, feeling it is not God pulling away from you. It is God pulling you closer to what remains. Ecclesiastes 3:1 says there is a time for every purpose under heaven, not some purposes, every purpose, including yours, including now, including this. So here is your path forward. 4 clean instructions, not complicated, not religious performance, just alignment. First, be still long enough to hear what is actually ending. Not everything that feels quiet is empty. Some silences are sacred. Some silences are God holding the room before He speaks. And right now, something in your life is completing itself. A role, a season, a version of who you had to be to survive what you survived. Do not rush past it. Do not fill it with noise to avoid feeling it. Sit in it. Because if you cannot name what is ending, you will carry it into April like old furniture dragged into a new room, and that new room deserves to be entered clean. Second, stop resurrecting roles God is letting die. This is the one that costs the most. Because some of you have spent decades being the strong one, the fixer, the one who holds everything together for everybody else. And God has been quietly, gently, lovingly releasing you from that assignment. But you keep going back, not because you want to, because it is familiar, because you do not yet trust that you are valuable outside of what you carry for others. Hear me on this. Your worth was never in your function. Isaiah 43:1 says, God calls you by name, not by role, not by usefulness, by name. Let the old emotional jobs go. They were never the real you anyway. Third, refuse urgency that is not from God. Philippians 4:7 calls it a peace that passes all understanding. And that peace is not passive. It is directional. It will tell you when to move. It will confirm when to wait. It will steady you when the world screams hurry. If a decision is making you anxious, that anxiety is not God's voice. God does not pressure His chosen ones into their next chapter. He prepares them for it. So refuse the panic, refuse the comparison, refuse the timeline the world handed you. Let peace confirm your movement. And if peace is not present yet, then it is not time yet. And that is not failure. That is faithfulness. Fourth, make one clean act of alignment before midnight tonight. Just one. It does not have to be enormous. It has to be honest. Release one attachment that has been draining your spirit. Stop over-explaining one decision that God already confirmed inside you. Write down the identity that is leaving, put it on paper, name it, and let it go. Pray one surrender prayer. Say out loud, Lord, I release what you are releasing. I receive what you are building. I enter April from agreement, not from fear. That single act will do more for your next chapter than 100 anxious plans. Now let me pray over you. Father, I lift up every tired heart watching this right now, every older believer who has been quietly wondering if their best days are behind them, every soul in grief that has not yet told anyone how heavy the weight has become. Every person who woke up this morning feeling like they lost their passion somewhere along the road and cannot find where they left it. God, touch them right now. Not with noise, with presence. For the ones in hidden transition, the ones nobody knows are changing. Let them feel your hand on their back, not pushing, guiding. For those being prepared for late life purpose, for peace that the young cannot yet understand, for usefulness that only comes through refinement. Lord, let them know it is not too late. It has never been too late. You are the God who called Moses at 80. You are the God who gave Sarah her miracle past the age of reason. You do not waste seasoned souls. Do something new, even now, even here. So here is what I am asking you to do. Type in the comments right now, I choose peace over panic. Let that be your declaration stepping into April. Share this message with one person you know is standing in invisible transition. They may not say they need it, but they do. And on the morning of March 31st, or the evening, come back to this message. Let it be your checkpoint, your moment of stillness before the new month opens. Because April is a new room, and you do not have to drag the old furniture in with you. The field that looked barren all winter, the roots held. The dawn after the soundless night. It is already forming. The door to your next chapter will not be opened by noise. It will open because in the silence, you became ready. March 31st may look quiet to everybody else, but heaven knows exactly what this day is asking of you. Pass the silent test, and the chapter that opens next will not have your old fear in it.